Hey guys, okay, so this is gonna be probably a two-parter video, okay? I'll try to keep it short, but I feel like this needs to be said, and people who are on food stamps need to know and stay vigilant. So bear with me, please. I will try to keep this down to 2 videos, possibility of 3, but okay. So for me personally, going back to May, I get my food stamps on the 9th of every month, and my benefit, I get $400. I'm sorry, $417 if I'm being exact. And like I said, I get that on the 9th of the month. Well, in May, and that day I went and I got a couple of dinners because I was having surgery on the 10th. So I got just a couple of dinners to tide us over until I would be able to go to the store again, right? And I spent, I think it was like $50, maybe $60 for dinner and a couple, like ramens and mac and cheeses and shit. Had my surgery on the 10th, spent the next several days completely bedridden, not able to do anything because I was in too much pain, and then went back to the store the following week, like around the 15th or so, if I'm not mistaken. I have to look at the calendar, and got like $20 worth of stuff, $20-$30 worth of stuff. And after I swiped my card, they give you the receipt with the total, the remaining balance on it, and I only had like $50 left. No one else uses my card except for me. I haven't given my card number to anybody. I don't do any of that shit. Some people do. That's your prerogative. That's not mine. And I'm the only one that uses my food stamp card. We only have one. So since I was tied up in bed, I wasn't at the store spending the fucking money. But I thought, well, maybe I wasn't paying attention, and maybe I did overspend. That happens. I do have lapses of time, so that was very possible. Speed up to last month, the month of June. The exact same fucking thing happened. And I knew I wasn't spending the money, but I was like, no, nobody is stealing your money, Amber. Like, who would do that? Nobody is doing that. Then I read online that there's fraud going on where people are getting other people's food stamp cards, like, how they do with your credit card or your debit card? They're doing the exact same thing with your food stamp card. And so that's how they're being able to get into it and steal your food stamp money. Now, some people really don't even get all that much. Some people barely get $100. And even though it's $100, that shit fucking helps, right? Okay, go over to the second part.
You have $244.27 worth of debt. Oh, you thought you was good. Now go ahead and...
So I'm a low-income girly. I've been on food stamps on and off for the better part of like 6 years. I moved out of my parents' house when I was 20, so I'm 26 now. So I've been on food stamps for about that long. Tell me why. I just got this fucking letter in the mail, and I haven't been on food stamps for about 6 months because I got a new job like 5-6 months ago and I knew I wasn't going to qualify. Tell me why I got this fucking letter saying that I owe food stamps $2,095. What the fuck? They also don't give any options for like payment plans on here, or they didn't tell me why. They were just like, oh, just pay this balance or it's gonna get taken out of your next year's tax return. Bitch, the fuck? And the letter came from the collection agency, the government collection agency of food stamps. Like, they have their own collection agency. Also, how evil do you have to be to work that job? Like, I just want to know. Like, most people who have food stamps are not like well off enough to even be paying $2,000. Like, most of them don't have $2,000 in their bank account. I know, I sure as hell don't. Like, since when did food stamps become a loaning service? Since when do I have to pay this shit back? Like, I'm thinking about it and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way that I've gotten that much in food stamps. Sorry, my ring light died. They're making me pay back like the whole thing with almost no explanation. And like, they were supposed to apparently send me a letter because I looked at this up on Reddit to see if it had happened to anyone else. They were supposed to send me a letter about a hearing and all this stuff where I could appeal this. I didn't get any of that shit. I didn't get any of that in the mail. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. And before anyone wants to say shit, no, I did not falsify anything on my food stamps applications. I gave all my information to them. Obviously, I didn't, once I was done with my food stamps and couldn't qualify for them anymore, obviously I wasn't telling them about like the jobs I was working then, but because I was done with the program. But like, while I was on food stamps, I reported all my income. I did everything right. So yeah, I'm fucking livid right now, obviously.
I have to call the food stamp people and tell them that they're not giving me enough money.
At first, I was gonna be like everybody else and be like, girl, How in the hell can't you and a 1-year-old survive on $500 worth of food stamps every month? Like, are y'all eating premium choice cuts, Grey Poupon, and all that every day? Then I realized something. A lot of grown folks don't know how to grocery shop. A lot of people were never taught how to grocery shop. They were never taught how to get their staples. They were never taught how to budget for their seasonings. They were never told how to buy in bulk. A lot of people do not know how to meal plan and grocery shop. So I'm going to show you something. I'm going to share something with you that's going to help. I saw in your comments that you shop at Walmart. So let me show you something. Now, this ain't sponsored because they be ignoring my pictures. But if you go into the grocery section of Walmart, they have a recipe column. And if you go to the recipe section, you will be able to see all these different breakfast, lunches, and dinners. And when you click on the recipe, it breaks it down for you. You can change the serving amount. It shows you how much it costs per serving. Then it shows you all the ingredients. And you can use EBT on Walmart pickup and delivery. Then you can click add to your cart, puts it all in your cart, as well as it gives you all the directions. And look, it even got the slope. Parents, teach your kids how to grocery shop, how to fill a house with food, how to buy the staples. You can go get big bags of rice, put them in jars, big bags of beans, all of that. We need to teach people how to grocery shop so they don't end up adults blowing through their grocery budget because they don't know how to buy food. People know how to eat and get the things they like, but they don't know how to buy food. So I hope this is able to help you. I didn't want to be like mean or condescending. I want to help you feed that baby and feed yourself. Okay?
So I decided to open up my DHS mail that I had sitting in my thing for a few days now. Yeah, they took my food stamps. Yep, they took my food stamps from the thing that happened last week with the pop cans and dumping them out in the Walmart parking lot to get cash, like I've always done. And the cop said he could have arrested me, but he wasn't going to, but he had to report it to the state. I didn't think he could actually report it. So not only are they taking my food stamps away and my cash benefits, they are making me repay everything from the last year. Do you know how much that is? The number is right here. $23,678 they want me to pay back. I can't afford groceries with the food stamps that they were giving me. How do they expect me to pay back that? Does anybody know if there's like an appeal? Can I appeal this? It doesn't say. I'm fucking screwed.
Story time on how I ended up having to pay back the government $3,000 in food stamps. So back in October 2021, I was fired from Starbucks, right? I got to give y'all that story too. And for the month of October and November, I was flying through my savings. So in December, one of my friends suggested, she was like, why don't you apply for food stamps? So I was real skeptical because I've never been on public assistance before. And from what I've heard, like, oh, they need all your information, whatever. But then I was like, I was looking for a job actively and nobody was calling me back. And I'm like, damn, this is about to be the second month, no income coming or whatever. Let me apply for food stamps. So I ended up doing it. And the good thing about it is the process that I went through, I just had to go through like the HRA app. And I ended up just sending them a picture of my unemployment letter because I was also denied for unemployment because of Starbucks. And once I sent that to HRA, the denial of unemployment, they approved me for food stamps. No problem. So I got my first payment in January. And they sent the letter saying that I need to recertify every year. And with every year, I have to recertify with my new income or whatever the case may be. So I'm like, all right, cool. Again, I wasn't familiar. This was my first time. I didn't know. So I ended up starting to get the food stamps in January. And then I got a job at the end of February, which is the job that I have now. So like I said, I didn't know that I was supposed to update them that I got a job and you know what I mean? So they could alter how much they're giving me. All I knew is that they said every year I have to recertify. So I just said, next year I'm just not going to recertify because I already know that I have a job. So the full year went by, and like I said, I already knew I was not going to recertify. But then they sent me a letter saying, hey, you don't have to recertify. We're going to continue paying you for the next 6 months. So I'm like, oh, okay. I wasn't, like I said, again, I wasn't familiar with the process or whatever the case may be. I was just like, okay, no problem. So I continued taking the payments. So now around April 2023, they sent me a letter officially telling me like that I need to recertify or whatever. And I declined to recertify again because I already had a job and I already knew that I wasn't going to qualify. Cool, no problem. So then they sent me a letter in June telling me that because I didn't certify, they were cutting me off, granted, which I already knew. Y'all, tell me why in November 2023, they sent me a letter saying that they overpaid me $3,000 in food stamps and I have to start paying them back as soon as possible. I was like, what? So, of course, now I got this letter and I'm so confused because I'm like, how the hell do I owe y'all $3,000 if y'all kept giving me the money? I never recertified. Y'all kept giving me the money. So now I'm pissed. So now I go to like the HRA like office in my area. They're like, oh no, you can't, you're not supposed to come here. You're supposed to go down to Pearl Street on by Brooklyn Bridge. So I went down to Pearl Street at Brooklyn Bridge, and apparently that wasn't like an office for you to talk to someone. That was just like a office building. So I went down to Pearl Street because, again, I wasn't familiar with the process. They did send me a paper explaining to me that I had to start making payment plans and where I could make, it wasn't, for me, the paper wasn't clear. And I wanted to know why I had to pay back, So I went down there to Pearl Street, and some ladies came down to speak to me, very nasty, very rude. And I was just like, what is going on? So when they came down, immediately one of the ladies was like, this is not a walk-in center. You're supposed to call on the phone. So I was like, okay, first of all, good morning. And I was like, second of all, I've been trying to call you guys all week. And every time I've been on the phone on hold for 3 or more plus hours. So if you guys don't want to use this as a walk-in center, then try having somebody pick up the phone because people have things to do. So then she was just like, how can I help you? So I explained the situation to her, and she was like, okay. She went back upstairs. She came back down like 10 minutes later with paperwork, again, with a nasty ass attitude. And she's underlined it. She's like, is this your name? She circled my name. I said, yes. Then she flipped it over and circled my income for the previous year. And she was like, this is the income that you had last year? And I said, yes. She was like, you weren't supposed to qualify. You made way too much money. I don't even understand how you think that you qualified for food stamps. And I was like, first of all, I didn't do anything to you. So I don't know what the issue is, but please stop talking to me like that. And I was like, second of all, this was my first time using government assistance. So I didn't know that I was supposed to let you guys know that I started working because the initial paperwork said that you recertify every year. So I just figured, okay, if I get it for this year, next year I won't recertify. And then on top of that, I brought the letter, and then I'm like, and then you guys sent me this letter saying that I did not have to recertify. You're going to continue to pay me. So how was I supposed to know? And she was like, oh, well, yes, the minute you started working, you were supposed to record that. And I'm like, okay, well, now here we are. I'm like, so what happens now? She's like, well, you could start a payment plan of the payment plan said $19 a month to pay off my $3,000 debt. What? She was like, yeah, so just start sending your $19. Attitude still nasty, right? The attitude was still nasty. So then I'm like, I'm not paying $19 for however long to pay off this debt. I'm like, I'm ready to pay you guys in full right now. Like, can I swipe my debit card? And she's like, that's when her whole attitude changed. She's like, you have $3,000? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, to pay in full right now? I'm like, yes, I'm coming to pay you guys. Like, how do we do this? So now she's looking there, and like I said, she was with another lady. So now they're both looking at me. And in my mind, I realized, I'm like, oh, so they expected me to be like begging to not, like, I don't know what they expected. Let me take that back. I don't know what they expected, but they definitely judged me 100%. Because the minute I said I could pay back that $3,000 right now, their attitudes completely changed. And she was like, oh, she was like, oh, I don't know who has $3,000 just laying around to pay back. And I was like, I do. Where do I pay you? Because now she was pissing me off. And she was like, oh, well, we can't take payments here. You have to write a check. And I was like, okay, no problem. You guys will get the check tomorrow. And then she was like, okay, is that all? And I was like, yes. And then I said to her, and I was like, you guys should do way better with your process. 100%. Because especially the second letter that you sent me, if you sent me a letter saying that I don't need to recertify, that you're going to continue to pay me, I shouldn't be liable for that, because you guys decided that you were going to continue to pay me. But it is what it is. And then I went home that same day and I sent the check and I cleared the debt or whatever. But girl, y'all, I was so upset because I'm just like, now I got to pay. So basically I paid for everything that they gave me, for all of that, I should have just went through my savings and just do what I was doing. And I probably wouldn't have went through $3,000. But it is what it is. That situation was so crazy. But to anybody that has food stamps or using food stamps and you start working, please use me as an example. Tell them everything, record everything. Like I said, I was a first time user of food stamps. I did not know the process. I just thought I was good and whatever. But you live and you learn. I will never do it again. I don't care if I have no money. I will go sing on the train for money before I take money from this damn government and end up having to pay it back. And then on top of that, they want to tell you for a $3,000 debt, pay $19 a month. When I got done, y'all ain't gonna see I gonna be paying till what you call it name. That shit pissed me off. Oh, and I completely forgot that I had to add this part because I was confused as to why I had to pay them $3,000 in cash when they gave me food stamps. And what they explained to me was that the way that it is dispersed amongst the EBT system is that cash comes in from the government and then they split it on the card to cash or food stamps. But it is actual cash that you're using to buy the food. It's not like, any type of other currency. So although you could only buy food with the food stamps, it was still actual cash money. So that's why I had to pay back cash. And that was also another thing that was pissing me off because I'm like, y'all gave me food stamps and I couldn't use these food stamps to buy anything else but food. But now y'all want to take my hard-earned cash dollars, saying that I owe y'all because of these damn food stamps. I wanted to add that because I know that people will probably be like, how the hell you have to pay back your cash dollars when they gave you food stamps? Y'all, the whole situation was just so annoying. Like I said, I will never do it again.